If you're building an income hoping it gives you options, or you've got the income and still don't feel free, this is for you. You've done the math. How many months until you can quit? How many clients until it's safe? You've Googled cost of living in Portugal at 2 a.m., looked at flights you didn't book, maybe researched how to open a bank account somewhere else, residency requirements, tax implications. You've thought about this more than you'd like to admit. And there's this version of your life you keep seeing, working from somewhere that isn't here, finally free, but you're still here. I stood here 13 years ago, broke, traveling between odd jobs. Now I'm back, same spot, but I spent all the time in between building a life that lets me be here whenever I want. I didn't escape anything. I just stopped building towards someone else's idea of success and instead optimized for what makes me feel free. You already know what you want. You've known deep down for a while. Now it's time to start moving. Supposedly there are 3 entrances here. I think we're going to the south entrance. I believe should be right up here. I'm gonna park the car and then we'll walk up. We're arriving a little bit later than I thought, but hey, we've got all day. We have more than enough time. I used to think freedom was a number. Make enough and you can do whatever you want. But I've watched people hit the number and still be stuck in some way. Their business owns them. And I've met people making way less, living way better. The difference is not the income, it's what it requires from you. Get the freedom right first, then scale the income on your terms.
There's 2 big amphitheaters, commercial museum, soldier houses.
Just had our first proper Turkish experience, tried the local food here. Restaurant owner and his wife gave us all the info we need to go make our day super fun here at Pamukkale. It's crazy, I was here in 2011. Still looks the exact same as I remember, but it's funny how your perspective changes. I'm a completely different person. I think that's true for all of us. We're a different person every year of our lives. We're constantly evolving. At that time, I felt very young and I didn't have much of a perspective on the world. I was really just starting out my travel adventures. So from this point on, right up here, you have to take off your shoes. You could only walk on the white part in bare feet. Pamukkale in Turkish means cotton castle. And when you look behind me, it's easy to see why it has that name. That is really chilly. Still waiting for the hot water. The man in the restaurant, he was saying the water starts at 38 degrees up there in the Cleopatra pool where we'll end up at some point. And then it gets progressively cooler as it goes down the mountain. It's very cold still. This would be an epic ice bath. Now we're heating up. Yeah, it's getting warmer.
Ah, que es muy liso.
'Plenty of people up here when you get to the top. I think they've driven in, because walking up there's not that many people. But if there are this many people in winter, you can only imagine what it would be like here in summer. My work runs across borders, same with all of my closest friends and colleagues. Your setup doesn't need to tie you anywhere. The thing is, I didn't plan any of this. I just started, moved abroad, figured out the income, then the residency, then the tax stuff, then met her along the way. The pieces aligned because I kept at it, not because I had it all mapped out from the start. We're gonna go explore the ancient city up here. Roman Greek theater right ahead. There's a necropolis on the end here at the western point. The truth is, I walked away from a lot. A chance at medical school, a career that made sense on paper. The kind of life my parents could explain without the long, awkward pause. Traded it all for years of not knowing if any of this would work. But I'd rather be uncertain and free than uncomfortable and stuck. Quick temperature changes here. Now it's cold when the sun's not out. It's actually quite chilly. When the sun's out, beating down, it's nice and warm. So yeah, now I'm regretting not going in the thermal pools, but hey, what can you do? Let's go explore the village. Almost took a spill on the way up and a close call here on the way down as well. No, you have to be super careful. This is really slippery. "13 years ago, I walked these exact same streets. Broke, no plan, just a suitcase and some vague vision of a life that could feel a lot more free than it did. I didn't know what I was building, I just kept moving, kept getting it wrong, kept going anyway. Now I'm back, same streets, same call to prayer in the distance, but I feel like a completely different person with a completely different life. That vision you have in your head, the one you keep coming back to, it's not as far away as you think." Usually if you walk far enough outside of the main tourist square, you'll get a little bit of culture and a taste of local life. You can see the houses here, there are farms, farm animals. So it looks like a public school here.
Evet, koy.
No shared language, didn't need one. My past self would have walked right past that school.
That's an international language. Smiles and sports. Doesn't matter, you can't speak the same language, you can communicate. Even when you're in a tourist area, go explore. Obviously, there are locals. You walk a few blocks, a few streets out. You never know what you're gonna find. We didn't know there was a school down there. And despite all of the amazing things we saw today, I would say that was one of the highlights of the day. And again, speaking of escaping the tourist area, I didn't want to eat at any of the restaurants there. We're going a little bit out of our way here to see if we can get a local experience in a town nearby. Let's go eat some delicious Turkish food.
Everyone's building something. Most people build toward escape, toward someday, toward a number that's supposed to set them free. I did too, for a while, but the freedom didn't come from hitting that number. It came from figuring out what I actually wanted, then building toward that instead. You've got that version of your life in your head, the one where you're finally free. What's actually stopping you from building toward it? Here's a hint at what's next.